Hello, Mr. Charles GASparino. Let me preface this with I am under no stretch of the imagination speaking on behalf of the minority community, but as a minority, I am speaking on behalf of myself. This is in reference to your comments made on air, Fox News, that essentially reinforce this disgusting narrative that most elitist and pretentious-minded people like yourself have continued to perpetrate throughout the history of American civilization. This idea or concept that minorities, without the assistance of the government or the discount bargain racks, would never have or deserve to have what everyone else has. This is rooted in some pure disdain, nothing more, nothing less. Black Wall Street is one of the prime examples. Now, the hijacked narrative will imply that that was a result of a misunderstanding between two races. It was not, in fact, that at all. What it was a successful group of minorities, especially in relation to those who perpetrated the crime of burning down Black Wall Street. Look it up if you are unfamiliar. All it was they looked at themselves and they looked at these successful group of minorities and were disgusted by the fact that these people were more successful than them, when the perception has always been minorities are less than. You mentioned that on air, that payment for order flow was a gift to the minority community, essentially. That's disgusting, as a lot of us have been investing in major brokers who do not participate in this. In fact, the ape community is the loudest voice in the room in trying to dismantle it. That's not an accident. We're not uneducated or uninformed. We are, in fact, contrary to that. Very informed. We continue to get smarter every day. That's not just the minority portion of the ape community. That's the entire ape community. Ape, A-P-E, all people equal. That's what disgusts you. That's why you are pretentious. That's why you don't want us to be successful, because just like Black Wall Street, you're looking at a group of people who had nothing, some of which are starting from the bottom and building by their bootstraps. That disgusts you because you're starting to see your portfolio and you're starting to compare it to these people who should not, in your mind, have anything. And that disgusts you. And it slipped. Now, before your employer, the powers that be, come out and release a statement on your behalf, or maybe on their own behalf, saying it was an accident, that it was misinterpreted. It was not misinterpreted. What it was, in fact, and those who have psychology backgrounds like myself understand it to be, is a Freudian slip. I will spell it in the video because I assume that you are unfamiliar. I apologize. That was an assumption of your intelligence. You probably didn't like that. The irony reeks, because you assumed that we were unfamiliar with how payment for order flow works, but we've been nothing but diligent in finding out what it is and how it works for the last several months. So with all due disrespect, Mr. Charles GASparino, please keep your mouth shut on communities of color and minority communities. Last thing, and I don't mean to start and rile up any feathers over Fox News or Fox Business, but if I'm really being honest, I think it's Charles Payne's success that rubs you the wrong way. I think that's where that Freudian slip was triggered by. You look at his ratings and his viewership skyrocketing. And I'm not even sure whether you have a show on Fox or if you're just a contributor, because I've never seen your show, nor would I ever want to, but could be rooted in that. Just a suggestion or a assumption. Again, I apologize for assuming the worst of you. Maybe now you will pause before you assume the worst of communities of color, minority communities, or the ape movement at all. I promise you, we will be successful and we will have the last laugh.